Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. The Warriors have always seen Davis as the ideal center to play alongside Stephen Curry. For the Warriors to acquire Davis, they will have to give up at least one of the two, Butler or Green, Siegel noted. The Golden State Warriors are reportedly pursuing a Dallas Mavericks star in an effort to bolster the roster around Stephen Curry and strengthen their push for an NBA championship. The Golden State Warriors are off to an uneven start to the NBA season, and the margin for error continues to shrink as they try to maximize their championship window around Stephen Curry. Sitting in the middle of the Western Conference standings, the Warriors are actively exploring roster adjustments that could stabilize the frontcourt and raise their defensive ceiling, and one of their options is a Dallas Mavericks player. According to NBA insider Chris Haynes, Golden State have emerged as a potential suitor for Dallas Mavericks big man Anthony Davis. Speaking on NBA on Prime, Haynes reported that the Warriors, who hold a 16-15 record and sit 8th in the West, have identified interior defense as a priority but face significant obstacles in pursuing the All-Star. "I came on last week and told you what the Warriors were looking for," Haynes said. "They want a rim-running big man who can protect the paint and be a lob threat. I was told they're contemplating making a case to acquire Anthony Davis as well, but Dallas was not that fascinated with what Golden State has on its books." Haynes added that any serious push for Davis would require additional assets or a third team. Golden State are focused on finding a defensive anchor at center for the second half of the season, a move that could ease the burden on Curry and Draymond Green as they attempt another championship run. Other potential options. Haynes has previously reported that the Warriors are evaluating more attainable athletic centers across the league. Among the names mentioned were Daniel Gafford, Nick Claxton, and Robert Williams III, all of whom could address Golden State's needs without forcing the franchise to sacrifice premium assets. Those options may represent a more practical path, especially given Davis's recent durability concerns. The Mavericks have dealt with extended absences from the veteran big man, most notably due to a lingering calf injury that has already cost him a significant number of games. Davis's numbers in Dallas. Despite the health questions, Davis remains one of the league's most productive two-way bigs. The 32-year-old is averaging 20.5 points, 10.9 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 1.3 steals, and 1.6 blocks per game for the Mavericks during the 2025-26 season. He recently posted back-to-back 30-point performances against the New Orleans Pelicans and the Denver Nuggets, underscoring his ability to dominate offensively. However, Davis suffered a groin injury on Christmas Day against the Warriors, an issue that is expected to sideline him for several games and further complicates any trade considerations. Warriors' hopes for a perfect Jonathan Kuminga trade is going up in flames. A perfect Jonathan Kuminga trade, one that doesn't require the Golden State Warriors giving up another rotational piece, really centers on New Orleans Pelicans wing Trey Murphy III, whose future continues to be draw speculation leading into the midseason deadline. However, the idea of an ideal Kuminga, Buddy Hield, and picks for Murphy, and salary filler, trade appears to be going up in flames for multiple reasons as the Warriors look for a major roster upgrade. Jonathan Kuminga Trey Murphy III trade is looking more unlikely. While it's been reported that the Pelicans are willing to listen to calls on Murphy, the asking price is still likely to be too high, and particularly for a team like Golden State, who have been protective of their future draft capital. Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype reported last week that it might take a Desmond Bane package to pry Murphy out of New Orleans. Just a reminder, the Orlando Magic acquired Bane from the Memphis Grizzlies in June for 4 unprotected first-round picks and a first-round pick swap. That's the sort of package the Warriors may be willing to give up for a bona fide superstar like Giannis Antetokounmpo, but not necessarily for Murphy, who won't have made an All-Star game through his first 5 years. The other sudden issue for Golden State, and others interested in Murphy, is the fact the Pelicans have actually found some form, having gone on a 5-game winning streak before Tuesday's loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Perhaps this isn't overly surprising given New Orleans do have talent on their roster, while they've also just got Zion Williamson and Jordan Poole back from injury as both take on roles off the bench for interim head coach James Borrego. If this form can maintain for the Pelicans heading into the deadline, it could force a rethink for Joe Dumars and the team's future outlook. Perhaps the likes of Murphy and Herb Jones are solidified pieces going forward, along with rookies Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen, who are currently viewed as the two untouchables on the New Orleans roster. It's hard to find a more perfect trade target that the Warriors could acquire in a Kuminga trade, largely because there's not many players as valuable as Murphy making less than $30 million and whose current team is willing to listen to offers on. If it's not Murphy, Golden State may need to look in a higher price range, from a salary perspective, if they're to pull off a seismic trade. That could come with an abundance of risk, particularly if they have to give up Draymond Green and/or a current starter like Moses Moody. While most of the attention around the Golden State Warriors has centered on potential center upgrades at the NBA trade deadline, the organization quietly addressed its frontcourt depth elsewhere. That move came through Santa Cruz. Golden State's G League affiliate finalized a trade to bring in Charles Bassey, a former NBA big man with real league experience and a track record of production at the G League level. It's not a splashy headline, but it's the type of move that often matters later. Why the Warriors targeted Charles Bassey? Bassey arrives via the Santa Cruz Warriors after a deal with the Delaware Blue Coats, with Golden State sending out the returning player rights to Jackson Rowe along with future G League draft capital. At 6'10", Bassey brings size, rim protection, and interior finishing to a system that prioritizes physicality and defensive presence in the middle. He's not new to the NBA grind. Bassey has appeared in 115 NBA games across stops with the Philadelphia 76ers, San Antonio Spurs, and Memphis Grizzlies, most notably carving out a rotational role with San Antonio over multiple seasons. Last year with the Spurs, he played a career-high 36 games, averaging 4.4 points, 4.2 rebounds, and nearly a block per night while shooting over 58% from the floor. The production wasn't flashy, but it was efficient and dependable. A G League resume that stands out. Where Bassey has truly separated himself is in the G League. What this means for Golden State's bigger picture. For now, Bassey's role is clear. He'll anchor Santa Cruz's frontcourt, wear number 54, and get immediate run as the C-Dubs continue their season. An immediate promotion to the NBA roster isn't guaranteed. Golden State's main roster remains tight on spots, and any path upward would likely require a consolidation trade at the NBA level. Still, the timing matters. The Warriors have been linked to a wide range of center options in recent weeks, from rotation-level rim protectors to much bigger swings. Adding Bassey into the pipeline gives the organization another evaluative option while larger decisions loom. It's depth. It's insurance. And its optionality. Proposed blockbuster Warriors trade lands $179 million former Nuggets NBA champion forward. The Golden State Warriors are as mediocre as it gets in the Western Conference. While the Dubs could sneak their way into the postseason come April, they aren't in a position to make a run to the NBA Finals. Could that change with the ideal blockbuster trade? Bleacher Report's Zach Buckley thinks so, as the notable NBA writer recently proposed a trade that would land the Warriors a former Denver Nuggets champion forward. The Warriors clearly need to get Stephen Curry more scoring support, but they also have to be careful about forking over their entire future when they might be more than one trade away from title contention, Buckley wrote Thursday. This feels like the right tightrope to traverse. Michael Porter is a top-shelf shot maker, career 49.9/40.6/79.9/, and his shooting threat is potent enough to pull attention away from Curry and Jimmy Butler. Plus, for a 25-point scorer who's essentially hitting half of his field goals and 40% of his threes, Porter should be relatively reasonably priced in a trade. Between him and Haywood Highsmith, a sturdy 3-and-D wing who should be nearing his return from off-season knee surgery, Golden State might see enough size, length, and spacing to give this a go. At worst, it feels like the Warriors would be a plucky playoff opponent. Buckley's trade proposal would send Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, Buddy Hield, a 2028 first-round pick, top 5 protected, and a 2030 first-round pick swap, 21-30 protected, to the Brooklyn Nets for Porter and Highsmith. Porter isn't the most well-rounded wing contributor on the trade market, but he does his job at an exceptionally high level. As a dependable three-point specialist who isn't afraid to shoot over outstretched arms, Porter routinely thrives on the offensive end. The Missouri product is playing the best basketball of his career with the Brooklyn Nets this season, averaging 25.7 points per game on 49.1% field goal shooting and 40.1% three-point shooting. With Porter in the fold, the Warriors would finally possess a legitimate third star who's a lights-out shooter from beyond the arc, which could prove to be the missing piece for the franchise. Porter is an intriguing trade target for the Dubs, to say the least. NBA Insider reveals Warriors' $48 million star will split with Stephen Curry before trade deadline. It appears that Jonathan Kuminga's time with the Golden State Warriors may finally be coming to an end. Since being drafted as the 7th overall pick in the 2021 NBA Draft, Kuminga has struggled to convince head coach Steve Kerr that he deserves to be an important member of the squad. The 23-year-old has made only one appearance in the last 7 games for the Warriors, and it was just for 10 minutes against the Phoenix Suns. There has been a lot of noise surrounding the young star regarding his future during the offseason. There were teams interested in acquiring him as well, but nothing materialized in the end as Jonathan Kuminga signed a 2-year contract with the Warriors. It's now or never for the Buffalo Bills. It was expected that Kuminga would be crucial to the Warriors' future as their core trio of Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green are not the players they once were as they have all crossed 35. While Curry is still having a dominant season by the numbers, he does need help on offense, and that is something the Warriors have struggled with against young and athletic teams. Therefore, many believed Kuminga would play an important role this season due to his athleticism and youth. But unfortunately, things have not worked out. To make matters worse, Kerr has preferred Moses Moody and Brandon Podziemski over the Congolese international. The Warriors have struggled against big teams this season, hence, there are reports that they may be looking to sign Anthony Davis, who is a high-impact big man. NBA insider Chris Haynes revealed that Kuminga's time with the Warriors could be coming to an end soon on NBA on Prime. Kuminga has been very frustrated. I was told he's had numerous meetings with Steve Kerr, and those two just haven't been on the same page. So at some point after January 15th, rival executives expect Kuminga and the Warriors to part ways via a trade. It remains to be seen what the future holds for Kuminga, but it seems that his future with the Dubs will be coming to an end. The Warriors are contemplating a trade for Anthony Davis. Warriors have boasted one of the strongest defenses so far as they have the 3rd best defensive rating in the league. But it is their offense that has struggled deeply as they are ranked 21st in offensive rating, which comes as a surprise to many as the Warriors have always been known for their ruthless and seamless offense. Kerr has always been a fan of the small ball and has won multiple championships, but this strategy has not been effective for them anymore. Curry may still be averaging 28.4 points per game, but he has struggled against athletic teams such as the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, it appears that the Warriors may finally be looking to trade for a big man. The Luka Doncic-Davis trade has not worked out for the Dallas Mavericks so far. The move has received a lot of backlash from Mavs fans and led to the sacking of Nico Harrison. But recent rumors have suggested that the Mavs would be open to trading the big man if they received a good offer. Haynes revealed that the Warriors have discussed trading for Davis on NBA on Prime. I was told the Warriors are contemplating making a case to acquire Anthony Davis. They're looking for a big man, a rim-running big who can protect the paint and be a lob threat. If the Warriors want to make a true play at Anthony Davis, they would likely have to acquire more assets or involve another team. If the trade for Davis does happen, it could considerably improve the Warriors' chances of competing for the championship as they look to improve on their poor 16-15 record. Jimmy Butler had a funny reaction to Draymond Green and Steve Kerr's fallout. Draymond Green and Steve Kerr have shared a strong bond for several years. The two have been through a lot of highs and lows ever since Kerr joined the Warriors in 2014. They have gone on to win 4 NBA championships since. Kerr has defended Green several times in press conferences due to Green's questionable actions, while the former Defensive Player of the Year recently defended his coach on social media against a fan. During the recent game against the Orlando Magic, a video went viral in which Green and Kerr had a heated exchange during a timeout. Tensions flared between the two, and Green walked off to the locker room. The whole incident caught a lot of eyeballs and was a shock to many. In a recent post-match press conference, Jimmy Butler was asked about the incident involving Green and Kerr. "That's just part of the game. When you've been together for so long, you're going to have arguments. It ain't going to be quiet all the time, and it's okay. You've got two fierce competitors that have won it together and that want to continually win. I like that. Y'all yell at each other. Turned me on a little bit, I'm not going to even lie." Both Green and Kerr have moved on and have publicly spoken about the incident. The forward has also played in their most recent win over the Mavericks on Christmas Day.